If you're going through a situation right now where you don't know which path to take, you don't know if you should take path A or path B, there's a heaviness in your experience, there's an anxiety in your experience, there's a worry, and you don't know which path to take. Understand that whichever path you decide to take, if you make a decision based on anxiety, if you make a decision based on fear, it's always going to be the wrong decision. Okay, because if you've been guided to this video, maybe you're going through a situation right now where you have to make a decision in your life. You have to decide what it is that you want to do with your life. You have to make a decision if you should go to this path or that path, and you don't know which path you want to follow. Understand, first of all, that if you make a decision based on anxiety, fear, or worry, that is always going to lead you down the wrong path. Because when you're at a low consciousness state, the decisions that you make from that space are usually very, very bad. Very bad decisions that are not going to allow you to step up into your highest purpose. And it's going to be decisions based on the ego. Now, when you make decisions based on the ego, you always go down the wrong path. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how to never make the wrong choice in life and how to use your intuition when you're actually making a choice. So if you're new to this channel, I want you to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell because I post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. So when you're making a choice in life, understand that heaviness and negativity and fear are not going to be conducive to making the right choice. Because heaviness and anxiety and worry and fear are all based on the ego. And guess what? The ego makes terrible choices. The ego is never going to allow you to make the right choice. So if you're going through some situation right now where you feel negative, where you feel anxiety, the best thing you can do before you make any choices is to clear your mind and get into a higher consciousness state. Okay, what does that mean? That means that you connect deeper to the present moment, because you can make decisions from two spaces in life. You can either make a decision based on fear, which is a survival-based mindset, or you can make a decision based on thriving and stepping up into your highest vision, which is going to be the best decision. A decision that excites you. There might be fear with that decision. Maybe there's an uncertainty. Maybe there's an uncomfort, but that's a different kind of fear. That's an exciting fear, which is a good thing. It's a perfect position to be in. But if you feel negativity and heaviness and darkness, and you make a decision based on that space, it's always going to be the wrong path. It's always going to be the path that is leading you down a place that you don't want to go. A place that leads you down a path that you will not be satisfied with in your life. Okay, if you're about to make a decision based on fear right now, think about what does your life look like in the next 5 to 10 years if you follow that path based on fear. Okay, so for me personally, I was in school 6 months ago studying software development. And what I told myself was I have to be realistic, right? I have to stay in school to be realistic. But what was that all about? That was fear of my dream not actually working out. Fear of my YouTube channel not growing. Fear of my coaching business not being successful. Now, when I realized that fear was controlling my life, I dropped out of school. Because you cannot make decisions based on fear. If heaviness and ego is controlling your experience and you're not following your heart, you're not following your highest vision, you're going to be led down the wrong path. Now, I'm not saying don't be realistic. I'm not saying don't be logical, but sometimes we're too logical, right? I was saying be realistic, but that was just fear masked as me being realistic, right? I was telling myself, yep, I'm just being realistic. But what was that really about at the core? It was just fear. It was negativity. Now understand that if you're making a choice right now, whether you go on this path or this path, you need to understand where is the energy coming from in the decision that you're making. If there's resistance, if there's negativity, if there's a fear, if there's a darkness, if there's a heaviness, don't make a decision from that space. Realize that the best way to make a decision is to become present to the moment and raise your state of consciousness. Now, I'm not talking about in the long term. I would personally recommend that you raise your state of consciousness every single day and raise your vibration, because that's my purpose, is to help you do that, right? That's why I'm, recording these videos. But understand that if you just have to make a decision real quick right now, the best thing you can do is clear your mind and step up into a clear state of mind. And then that's when you tap into your higher self. Okay, when you tap into your higher self, that is the decision that you should make. Okay, it might come in the form of a thought. It might be a feeling in your heart. It might be a feeling in your gut. But all these things are only effective when you're in a high consciousness state. What is a high consciousness state? A high consciousness state is being connected to the present moment. Feeling a state of oneness. Not feeling that heaviness or that fear. Let the personal history go out of the window for just a moment, right? Feel into your body. Feel that heaviness. That heaviness is not going to be conducive to making a decision right now. If you have to make a decision right now in your life, that feeling of heaviness will not be conducive. So just, here's what you do. You got to just close your eyes, notice your breathing, and channel that negative energy and transmute that energy into positive energy. Okay, observe that negativity. Don't attach to negativity. Become present to the moment and connect deeper to the moment, and then you make a choice. Okay, raise your state of consciousness just a little bit, because if you're making a choice based on fear, that's what you call a survival-based mindset. Are you making decisions to survive or to thrive? That's the difference between a higher consciousness decision and a low consciousness decision. A low consciousness decision is based on surviving. I'm not saying don't survive. Obviously, we need to survive. But when you thrive, you're automatically surviving already. The survival needs are taken care of. It's not about how do I survive? How do I feel less worse? How do I go to school just so that I can feel less worse? It's how do I become my greatest version? That's a very, very different energy to approach life at. That's not a survival-based mindset. That is a thriving mindset where you are on the path to become your greatest version. Now, to get onto the path, onto the timeline and the parallel reality where you are becoming your greatest version, is to let go of the survival-based thinking, which is based on low consciousness states. What is a low consciousness state? A low consciousness state is anxiety, fear, worry, depression, reactivity, a feeling of dissatisfaction with the moment. All these things are not going to be conducive to the highest timeline that your soul can be on, that your life can actually be on. So what you want to do is temporarily let go of these emotions, get to a high consciousness state, and listen to your higher self. Okay, your higher self is always communicating to you, whether through your own voice, the own voice in your head, the inner voice. That's why if you're really making a decision, the best thing ultimately you can do is go into deep meditation. Okay, turn off all the lights in your room, go into a deep state of meditation, and listen to your higher self. Listen to what your intuition tells you. Let go of all the fears, right? Do you feel how that would be a better decision to make versus making a decision from heaviness, right? Because if you clicked on this video, you're probably feeling heaviness, negativity. When you're making choices from that state of heaviness, you're not going to make the right choice. So get into a lighter state of energy, get to a lighter state. It's a more light state. There's no heaviness. It's a flow state. It's an energy of abundance. It's an energy of being connected to the moment. When you make a decision from that space, your decisions will be millions of times more effective. Right? Because there's some kind of a passion that you probably love to do, right? Maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a content creator like me. And when you're in the process of creation, there is no fear. When you're in the flow state, there is no fear. Because I knew that if I connect deeper to the present moment and I enter a deep state of oneness, there is no fear in that state. right? All negativity gets transmuted into positive energy in that state. So what I did was I followed that, and it led me down a path where I am now clear on my purpose, which is to raise the vibration of the planet through my videos and through my coaching, or whatever form that takes. Right now, it's recording videos. Now understand that you can tap into this intuition as well. It's about not being afraid. There's nothing to fear, okay? Your higher self always has you taken care of. In fact, I would be more fearful of following the path of fear, because there's always going to be consequences with any decision that you make. Whether you follow the path of fear or the path of love, love is also going to include fear. The fears will come up, but it's going to be a much better path, much more worthwhile than following the path of fear. Because when you follow the path of love, you have to let go of the fear. You have to let go of the old relationships. You have to let go of all the things that don't serve you. If you're doing a job you hate, you have to let go of that. And you still got to be practical too here, right? You still got to make sure that you don't go homeless, that this doesn't happen. But here's the thing, is that when you're at a high consciousness state, it's very, very unlikely that all these negative things are going to happen to you, because you're taking actions from a higher state of consciousness, and your higher self would never do you wrong. Okay, even if it doesn't seem logical in the moment. Like when I had a thought and my higher self told me, drop out of school. Okay, that thought almost felt like it wasn't my thought. It almost felt like it was a thought from the divine. It almost felt like it was a thought from my higher self. It's like I received a thought that said, drop out of school. Now, this made no logical sense to my ego, because I was in school for 2 years. I had a lot of time invested. I had thousands of dollars invested in this. I had student loans to pay. I was like, this isn't logical. This makes no sense. So you would expect that there was obviously resistance following that thought, right? I was resisting. I was like, I can't do this. That doesn't make sense. Like, I'm like, higher self. I didn't actually say this, but I was like, higher self, that's not going to work. Like, I can't do that. I can't drop out of school. And I didn't actually say it in that way, but I was questioning that thought. I was in a way thinking like, really? Are you really telling me to drop out of school? But then the moment I just started to tap into that energy that I felt when I received that thought in the first place, and I made that my primary state of consciousness, and I followed that, I started to align myself with God, to align myself with the universe. I started to realize that there's nothing to fear. And that if you follow that path, things will work out the way that they need to. Now, still be logical, but don't be too logical. Use your logic when you need it, right? Like for me, my logic is, I record a video daily. I make sure that I don't go homeless. I make sure to plan and schedule. And that's pretty much it. Obviously, there's more to that. But I'm not going to be thinking about like, okay, what if this doesn't happen? What if that doesn't happen? What if this isn't? How fast is my channel going to grow? How fast is this going to grow? Is my business going to work out? You see, all of that is the ego trying to stop you. Okay, follow the decisions that you make from a state of being deeply connected to the present moment. The opposite of fear. Do not make decisions based on fear. Let presence guide you, not fear. Presence is love. Okay, consciousness is love. Unconsciousness is fear. Unconditional love is the path you want to follow. Conditional love is the ego. Do not follow the path of the ego. If you follow the path of the ego, regardless of what decision you make, it will be a very bad decision that will guide you down a path that you do not want to follow. It's not going to be the path that is your highest timeline. Okay, so understand that it's a survival-based mindset, and a lot of people are running off of survival, and you want to follow the path of thriving into your highest timeline. Now understand that when you follow your highest vision, the universe supports you and it gives you exactly what you need. And maybe it doesn't seem logical in the moment. Maybe it doesn't seem logical in that moment that you make the decision, but if you keep acting on that higher consciousness state, you keep going inwards, you keep doing the meditation, you keep connecting to the moment, you keep listening to that deep inner voice that comes from a place of presence, and you keep doing that despite what your logical brain tells you after those thoughts, you will see that you will go down the path that you're meant to follow. Okay, it'll never do you wrong, even if it seems illogical in the moment. Sometimes you have to listen to your heart. And I'm not saying don't be logical. Make sure that you don't end up being homeless if you do something like me, where you drop out of school. But don't be too logical, right? Because I remember in the past when I record these videos, I wouldn't be realistic enough. I was like, follow your heart, follow your highest passion. But then some people commented, they're like, okay, Francis, that's all good, but we got bills to pay. I get that. So if you can't be bold like me and just drop out of school and record videos because you're going to go homeless, still, whatever choice you make should be from a high consciousness state. You see what I'm saying? Even if you're going to make a small decision like start a side business while you work, if you're coming from a place of fear, you probably won't even start that business. But you have to come from a place of high consciousness. So you got to raise your vibration. You got to raise your state of consciousness before you make a decision. And when you do that, your decisions are much more powerful. They're going to impact the greater whole in a positive way. And when you're in alignment with love and light and consciousness, the universe sees that. The higher consciousness power sees that, and it supports you. Okay, that might seem a little bit esoteric, but that is the truth based on what I've seen in my experience. This is all based on my experience. When I follow that higher consciousness state, it's almost like I'm being supported by something higher than me. It's almost like I'm being fully supported by the higher power, by God, by universe, by my angels, by my spirit guides, by light beings. Now, don't attach to the label. Maybe you resonate with one label, not the other. Maybe you resonate with spirit guides, not God. Maybe you resonate with the universe, not angels. Well, you see, the label doesn't matter. What matters here is the deeper intelligence that runs life. And when you make decisions from that space, not from that heavy state of fear that you probably feel in your stomach, in your chest, that negative heavy energy, right? In your sacral chakra, in your stomach area, when you feel powerless, do not make a decision from that space. That's a space where the higher power will not support you. And technically you're always supported, right? But if you choose the path of fear, there's consequences to that. Now, if you choose the path of love and light, there's consequences to that as well. But personally, in my opinion, I would take the consequences of love and light. You see, of course, there's consequences to following my highest vision. I had to drop out of school. I have to let go of old relationships that don't serve me. I have to protect my energy. I can't be as social right now in my life because I'm, I'm a content creator. So my energy has to be on point when I'm recording content. You see, if I let my energy get too influenced by external sources, I can't do it. So that's not a sacrifice. You see, when you step into love, there's no sacrifice, but there's a letting go. It's a replacement. You let go of one thing, you step into the other thing. Now that might seem like a sacrifice at first, but the truth is that when you step up into your highest vision, it's not a sacrifice. It's a win-win. You win and the planet wins, even if it doesn't seem like it at first. So to conclude this video, when you make a decision based on fear and anxiety and worry, understand that you will always make very bad choices. Very bad choices, okay? Choices that can get you killed. Choices that can put you down a path of misery. Choices that can put you on the path of your own personally created hell that you created. Now, I know that sounds tough. I know that's not what you want to hear. But the truth is that we create our own personal hell. We create our own experience by choosing to play the victim role. Okay, the victim role is survival. Don't choose that path. If you're watching this video still this far, understand that there's no coincidence and the universe guided you to watch this video for a reason. So understand that if you're feeling heaviness, right, you clicked on this video feeling heaviness, not knowing what decision to make, clear your mind and do not make a decision from that heavy space, because I promise to you, the universe is communicating through me to you right now, trying to tell you to not follow the path of fear, because it will ultimately lead you down the wrong path that will lead to suffering and your own personally created hell. Okay, that's just the truth. I'm saying that from love, not from fear. You see the difference? Because if I said it from fear to induce fear into you, there'd be a different vibe. I'm saying it from a space of stepping into your highest vision, stepping up into your highest timeline. Because when you understand that following the path of fear leads you down the wrong path, you understand that following the path of love leads you down the path that you're meant to follow. Now, just the way that this worked out in my life, just so that I can make this more relatable, is that when I dropped out of school and I continued to follow that present state, what that led me to was a state of flow and oneness when I record videos. Like when I record a video, I tap into a very high conscious state, right? Where I feel like I'm channeling a higher consciousness state. I feel like I'm channeling higher beings of light. I know that sounds crazy, but that is the truth. It's a very high consciousness state. It's a state of oneness. It's a state of being connected to the whole. It's a state of being connected to who you really are, that doesn't have any fear, doesn't have any heaviness. Now, sometimes there is heaviness, but it's a different relationship that you have with that heaviness, because it's not about allowing the heaviness to control you. It's more of while you're in that state, old subconscious programs come up and try to keep you down, but then you keep moving up and you keep letting go of the things trying to pull you down. So you go up, you feel fear, you let that go, you move up higher. So you're still gonna feel fear sometimes, but the difference is that when you follow this path, where I started to record videos, I started to connect, deeper with my clients in my coaching calls. I started to align myself with truth. Okay, not just meditation, not just meditating to feel less worse, but to align myself with the high consciousness state that I learned how to I learned how to tap into that high conscious state, right? Anybody can do that. Maybe you know how to meditate. Maybe you know how to connect deeper to the moment, but then can you align yourself with that state and that truth? That's a whole nother story. Can you meditate? Beautiful. Can you align yourself and embody that state? That's a whole nother story. That's a completely different level. There's levels to this. There is levels to this. So if you want to get to the highest level of your reality that you can possibly be in this reincarnation and in this lifetime, do not make a decision based on fear. Follow the path of love and light, and follow what puts you in that flow state. Like for me, once again, when I record a video, it puts me in that state. When I'm in a coaching call, it puts me in that state. When I'm doing art, it puts me in that state. When you follow the path of love and light, you will know, because it's a state of wholeness, it's a state of connection, it's a state of presence, it's a state of being connected to your five senses, it's a state of being very, very connected to everything that you feel. And there's an intuition there. You see, that's intuition. It's almost like you're letting go of the logic for a minute. You can still listen to your mind, but you're balanced with your heart. You see, that's the difference. When your mind is connected to your heart, then you make better decisions. But if you're just controlled by the mind, then you're not making the right choice. Balance the mind and the heart, and you'll be able to make more powerful decisions. Now, once again, I know that for a lot of you watching this, I know that if you're watching this video right now, I'm personally communicating to you, and this video is specifically for you. And I want you to understand that it's totally normal to feel what you're feeling. but do not allow that heaviness to put you into the victim state. The victim state will not get you anywhere. It's not going to help you to step up into that highest timeline. Notice your breathing. You don't control your breathing, notice your breathing. Close your eyes, calm your mind down. Let it go, right? Let go of that heavy energy and then make a decision, right? If you got to close your eyes and observe that heaviness and allow it to be there and, transmute that energy, then do that, because that's the only way you're going to make a better choice. But if you're in a position where you can't necessarily get to a very conscious state because you feel limited by your environment, that's okay. You can make a better choice with less destruction and less ego if you consciously make a choice from the high consciousness state by clearing the mind first. Okay, if you want to download my free guided meditation to help you get into this state, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. It's totally free. I'll also leave it as a comment in this video. And what this meditation will do is put you into a higher consciousness state that will allow you to make a better decision. So if you feel negativity, if you feel anxiety, and you don't know how to enter high consciousness state, even after watching this video, I would highly, highly recommend that guided meditation that I offer to all my new subscribers, because it will put you in a high consciousness state. If you make a decision after that meditation, then you'll make a better choice. You don't need my meditation to do that. You can use your own techniques and connect deeper to the moment in your own way. But that's an example of a tool you can use to enter that state. So try that meditation and it will actually help you. So that's all I have for you today. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.